G'day guys and gal. I'm actually surprised how long it took me to make this video, considering the Chaos Gods are such a big part of the lore and how interesting and complicated they are. Hence, what a great topic to cover. However, as I'm sure everyone who's ever received an organ transplant would say, better late than never. The Chaos Gods aren't just these massive deities controlling everything, nor are they these unfathomable Lovecraftian horrors. There's even a valid theory that they aren't even sentient and only exist in the most basic conceptual sort of way. What they are is what I'll talk about in this video, so bucker up, buckaroo. Before we get started, life is all about balance. You want to have as much fun as possible while also not nuking your health. Some bad habits knock this balance out of whack a bit too much, so I'm happy to partner with Fume today to offer an alternative. Fume is a flavored air device that you suck on. No smoke, no vapor, no chemicals, just air. It also doubles as a nifty fiddle device to help you ADHD your way through your day. There are also plenty of flavors to choose from: crisp mint, orange vanilla, sparkling grapefruit. There is something for everyone, with crisp mint being my favorite as it's like a blast of fresh minty air. There's also plenty of ancillary products to enhance your fume, like a fume topper to keep it covered and more hygienic, a fume base to aesthetically store your fume and increase its spinny fiddle potential, or you can even get the more slick Solano model, which is like dark mode but for your fume. So to join over 300,000 people that want to break a bad habit or just want something fun to suck on, then go to tryfume.com and use code Majorkill or scan the QR code and you'll get a free fume topper when you order the journey pack. Cheers to Fume for sponsoring this video. Today we'll go over the Chaos Gods, detailing their true nature, what they actually are, as well as giving a quick rundown of each Chaos God. Let's get into it. The origins of the Chaos Gods has been retconned numerous times, which makes things even more confusing. Very old lore had Nurgle awakening during the Black Plague, Korn appearing during the Crusades, and so on, which made no sense as the action of a single non-psychic species on one planet should not be able to spawn a Chaos God. Especially since Slaanesh's birth took a galaxy-spanning blood orgy of a psychic race to complete. More recent lore had the Chaos Gods spawning as a result of the War in Heaven, due to the warp being thrown into turmoil and creating the conditions needed for the realms of chaos. However, that too was retconned, and now it turns out that chaos has always existed in some fashion, with the old ones and Necrontyr fighting them in eons past, prior to the War in Heaven. I'm not really a big fan of that new retcon. Chaos doesn't have to be the big bad of everything, but it is what it is. Chaos has always been around and has always been annoying. Now in theory, the Chaos Gods aren't necessarily supposed to be malicious forces of evil. Sure, Nurgle is disease and decay, but he should also be nature and rebirth. Sure, Korn is blood and war, but he should also be courage, honor, and bravery. However, all noble aspects of chaos has been so heavily suppressed by the evil aspects that they aren't even factors that can be considered anymore. Chaos, and by extension the Chaos Gods, exist and are molded by the thoughts and emotions of sentient creatures, living in the real material universe. Because those sentient creatures are such dicks to themselves and each other, chaos, as a reflection of that, are also dicks. Theoretically, if everyone sung Kumbaya and got along and were able to resist Chaos's attempts to sabotage the new peaceful era, Chaos would also chill out. But that'll never fucking happen, so no point spending too much time worrying about it. As for the gods themselves, they are and also aren't physical and tangible. It's complicated, but I'll do my best to explain. Every single aspect of a Chaos God, from the demons to the blessings to their realm, are all part of that Chaos God. To create demons, they shed shards of themselves. To create their realms, they expand their being. Their blessings are tiny slivers of their power. Yes, a Chaos God can manifest in a physical form. For example, this could be Korn appearing as a gigantic demon king sitting on his skull throne, or it could be Slaanesh appearing as a human-sized, innocuous entity. But you need to understand that even those physical manifestations are still just parts of their whole. Due to a Chaos God's immense power, they also cannot manifest in the physical universe. Things from the warp are naturally repelled by the physical universe. Demons require a tether to stay in real space. The more powerful the demon, the more powerful the tether required. There is currently no tether that exists to materialize and stabilize in real space. That doesn't mean they cannot directly intervene in real space though. The Chaos Gods have been known to teleport their minions to safety, shit out warp storms, empower a champion at a key moment, and since demons are literally shards of them, they are technically manifesting via their demons. But yeah, long story short, a Chaos God can physically manifest as a tangible being or entity. They could also appear as a gigantic eye the size of a star, but they cannot do it in real space. As a final note to help frame it, let's say Korn manifesting on the Skull Throne as a massive mega demon god would be like his entire head manifesting, whereas Slaanesh manifesting as a human-sized sluzzer in order to try corrupt someone wandering the realms of chaos would be the equivalent of Slaanesh's fingernail. In regards to my comment earlier where I said I wouldn't really consider the Chaos Gods Lovecraftian, that is because they are not these outer mysterious nefarious forces or aliens who are coming into our reality. They are reflections of the darker side of humanity and other sentient creatures. Korn is rage and war because humans are capable of rage and war. Debauchery doesn't need Slaanesh in order to exist. They are a dark mirror to ourselves, so even if someone hasn't heard of chaos, they are still intimately connected with it just by the virtue of being a flawed sentient being. Coming away from all the metaphysical bullshit, what do the Chaos Gods actually want? What is their goal and desire? On a fundamental level, all they want to do is keep existing, using and abusing reality to fuel their own continued existences. The Great Game, that being the constant four-way war between the Chaos Gods, purely exists to A, provide the gods with entertainment, and B, ensuring no single Chaos God gets strong enough to consume or destroy the others. Chaos is loving the current setting of Warhammer because it is full of endless entertainment as well as a near infinite fuel for their great game. It's also why Chaos hates the Tyranids. The Tyranids are a rogue element that can end the fun via consuming all of Chaos's fuel. They also hated the Emperor because the Emperor was a genuine threat to the great game. That's why they seemed really serious and proactive and worked together during the Horus Heresy. They were genuinely concerned. Whereas in 40k, they're constantly backstabbing and fucking over each other for the laughs. Many Imperial victories are solely due to Chaos turning on itself in the current setting because the Chaos Gods feel no real threat to the game. They're just happy to throw an entire war just to piss each other off for the laughs because it doesn't really matter. This may change with the awakening of the Emperor and the return of the Loyalist Primarchs, but it does explain the attitude difference between the two eras. Now there are those, like Fabius Bile, who believe that the Chaos Gods don't really exist in the sense that they are sentient. Fabius believes that the Chaos Gods are just a complex bundling of emotions in the warp that act according to how people believe they should, not because they can think for themselves, and this theory does have some merit. The Chaos Gods weren't mortals with souls that ascended. They were an amalgamation of countless emotions and souls crushed together and given form by fundamental concepts. It would not be far-fetched to say that they are incapable of free thought and free will, merely acting based on what everyone feels they would. But a definitive answer to that is above my pay grade, so we can let Fabius keep sucking on his copium for now. So now we know where the Chaos Gods come from, what their nature is, and what their goals are, let's take a quick look at each of the four main Chaos Gods. Korn is the most classic of all Chaos Gods. The form he usually assumes is basically a gigantic bloodthirster, which makes sense as after all, if you take a shard off a god, the shard should look like its god. Korn is generally the most powerful of the Chaos Gods as he gets to feed off war, bloodletting, violence, battle, and so on. Plenty of that happening in Warhammer 40k. Korn is straightforward and direct. He beelines towards his goals and objectives, relying on raw power to win instead of schemes. Korn is currently the most powerful of the Chaos Gods, being able to manifest an army on Terra at the opening of the Great Rift, Angron being able to rapidly respawn after banishment, as well as Angron destroying a special mini Astronomicon on the dark side of the galaxy, corrupting a massive chunk of the Imperium's army. Next up we have Tzeentch, the Changer of Ways, and the Chaos God of schemes, manipulations, progress, and to a large degree, sorcery and magic. Tzeentch used to be the most powerful of the Chaos Gods and even took on his three brothers. However, not wanting to win the great game, hence end it, Tzeentch self-sabotaged and allowed himself to be shattered, before then getting slowly reformed, just as planned. The cool thing about Tzeentch is that although many of his demons can see the future, Tzeentch can't. He's just so good at scheming that he's able to account for and predict countless variables. Tzeentch carried the Horus Heresy hard. He was responsible for the fall of Magnus and the breaking of the Webway, two of Chaos's greatest dubs during the Heresy. Safe to say, Tzeentch is definitely enjoying the great game the most and is kind of like the game moderator, ensuring it can continue via making sure outside influences don't ruin it, as well as making sure no Chaos God gets too big for their boots, including himself. Then we have Papa Nurgle, the Chaos God of decay and smelling like shit. Although Nurgle has a lot of symbology with death, he also represents rebirth. His realm is a gigantic garden, and although it is raw pestilence, it is still brimming with life. After all, bacteria and viruses are just as alive as me or you. Nurgle is often quite jolly, which is reflected by his followers. Those that follow him are freed from suffering, pain, or general concerns. He's also a lot more caring and affectionate to his followers than his brother gods. So Nurgle-like demons and those that worship Nurgle are often quite jolly and even polite. Although Nurgle is rarely the most powerful of his brothers, there are times where he has shot to the top of the food chain due to a large-scale, galaxy-wide plague. Nurgle currently has the elder god Isha as a prisoner. He's able to test these plagues upon her as she can then heal and cure herself after, making her the perfect forever usable test subject. However, Nurgle is currently wounded after the Emperor set his garden on fire at the end of the Plague Wars. Nurgle also blew a fat load during the Plague Wars, more of a load than he would have liked to due to Mortarion being a bit overzealous. Hence he overstretched his power, lost a bunch of it, and now Morty is in the naughty corner. Basically, we won't see the Death God or Nurgle as the big bads for a while now. And finally, the youngest of the Chaos Gods, Slaanesh. A lot of people get annoyed when I call Slaanesh the god of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, being genuine Timmies and saying stuff like, well actually, the nuances of Slaanesh's corruption is more sophisticated than just drugs or sex. It ties into addiction, indulgence, and selfish desires. And yeah, sure it does, but a lot of that debauchery is tied to drugs, which heighten your senses, and sex, which is the ultimate expression of indulgence. After all, the Emperor's children literally turned millions millions of Imperial citizens into space cocaine and snorted them, so shut the fuck up with your snobby self-righteous interpretation of the god that literally spawned from a galactic drug-fueled blood orgy. Slaanesh is currently the weakest of the Chaos Gods, mostly due to the fact that her servants are extremely short-sighted and selfish. Her greatest champion, Fulgrim, has been jerking off on his pleasure planet for 10,000 years, whilst the Empress Children Legion themselves are incredibly low on warriors. Slaaneshi demons are also mostly focused on the Elder at the moment, which keeps both factions busy. However, with the Empress Children getting a refresh soon, it's likely they and their god Slaanesh will make a big comeback. Something I fucking love about Warhammer is that in all other settings, the 4 demon gods of hell would be considered the indisputed main antagonists of the setting. However, they are just like one piece of the pie here. The Tyranid Hivemind, Gork and Mork, the Necron dynasties and hell, even the Emperor, are all just as big as threats to the setting as the Chaos Gods, which makes for one hell of a Royal Rumble. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then join Dice Dioramas, my new membership platform where we are giving away a hectic Angron vs Lion diorama to one of our members. Cheers to Fume for sponsoring this video. Do this for more memes and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.